Welcome to Everything's Fucked podcast, where we are not having technical difficulties right now. This is Monica. You guys, we're going to be talking about menstruation today. Who's ready for that?
Are we really doing it like this?
Yes, we are. Keep going, Asia. We're really doing it like this.
Oh my God. Yeah. We're talking about PMS, baby.
Are we really doing it like this? Asia, I'm full of surprises, and sometimes you just really need to continue with what's happening.
Oh my God. After having technical difficulties like 3 times, I'm looking at your face like, what are we doing? Is this what we're doing? Or are we gonna scrap it and go again? Like
No, I was just really excited we weren't having technical difficulties this time because it was really frustrating me, and now we're
Oh my
not.
God. So we're
And I
celebrating.
really need our listeners to know that we're not having technical difficulties
And we're both
anymore.
on our period doing a period episode. So this should
Oh my
be
gosh.
hella interesting.
Can you believe, you guys, this was not pre-planned.
Nope.
I just need everyone to know that the moon aligned, our
We're
our
synced
moons
up,
aligned.
bitches.
Yeah, Asia and I have bestie synced.
Oh my
That's a real
goodness.
thing, guys.
When you started and I was like, well, we're doing the episode Saturday, that should play in great. And then I woke up the next day like covered. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're both gonna be okay for this episode.
Asia had a Carrie moment.
Yeah.
That's how real we're gonna get in this episode.
Yeah.
It looked like somebody murdered her, so good thing she's still here. Just so you know.
Had to go do laundry like right then. Laundry day became that day. Man, it needs to be normalized. You know, I think that half of the population or more deal with it. So we definitely need to talk about it. It needs to be normalized because, I'm almost 40 years old and I still woke up completely covered in blood and did not know what the fuck, disoriented. Like, what the hell happened? Like, why so sudden? Why so much? You know what I mean?
So serious.
What are we doing here, body? And it's nice that my family is totally understanding of it. My husband, runs out and gets the ibuprofen and does the things because he knows that it is one of those things I can't control. And, it's so open in we talk about it so openly in my house that it's not taboo in my house. You know what I mean? It's something that more than half of the people living here go through. You know what I mean?
He didn't look at you in like total disgust, like, ew, gross, Asia. How could you?
No, he would jump up.
How could your body do this to me?
No, I don't have to deal with one of them. Thank God, there are men out there like that, but my husband's definitely really supportive. I have endometriosis, which makes my period exponentially worse. So it's very painful. So he's always been very supportive of me when I have to go through it. And he has 3 daughters. I mean, how can he not, with 3 daughters, have like some understanding of what's happening? Because he saw Rebecca go through it. And then now he's seeing Lily go through it.
Don't care about that.
I know. And they should care. Honestly, it's something that it affects us in some of us way worse than others, but it affects us all. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they should be aware and, I don't know. It gets me all riled up though, Monica.
Gets me all riled up too. Did you know? Okay, I read this somewhere. I don't know where I read it, so I'm not going to like link to something because it's just some random statistic that I read that I'm holding in my brain. That at any given time there are like 700 or like 800 million women and girls worldwide menstruating at any given time.
Oh wow, man, we're a powerful,
right? Like
we are powerful. Yes, that is a lot.
Which is kind of crazy when you think about like how taboo this topic is, like how many people are like, shh, don't talk about it.
No,
because that's a lot of freaking people at one time.
There are still, families that don't even talk to their daughters about it until they start their period. And they're like, oh, you're bleeding? Okay, well, then now we're going to talk about it. There's still my mom was raised that way. I know a lot of families that still do it that way. They don't really talk to their kids about it or their daughters about it until they're well into it. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, now we're going to let you know this is something, now that you're hormonal and now that you're going through so many things, now we're going to let you know this is a lifetime. and this is what's going to happen to you, and this is what's happening. It's too much information. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
starting from day one with your kids, just knowing that you're on your period
it's
is
not enough
more
time to
healthy.
absorb it and like process it and understand it and ask questions
Yeah.
and kind of like take it all in. And it's like super shocking too, I think. Like I can't imagine being in that situation and like starting your period when you're that age and being like, "Oh my god, what's happening to me?"
Unaware that that was even gonna happen.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
No.
the school system, the education system, I mean, I can only speak for the American education system or, like even California and Oregon education system because that's where I
Yes.
was educated. I don't know what it's like in other states. Let us know, guys, because this is where we
Yeah.
were educated. It's not all inclusive. I mean, they don't give you, I think, all of the information. They give you just enough information for you to kind of have an idea of what's going on. They don't tell you. I think it's better now. Ramona always tells me what she's learning in school. So I
Yeah.
think it's
She's the
better
one.
now than even before when I was a kid. So,
Yeah.
but it's not.
When Rebecca went to school, I do remember that they still separated the boys and the girls, which I think was stupid.
Yes.
So that way the boys didn't have any fucking clue what the girls were going through and vice versa, which is just stupid. Um, but I don't know if they're doing it differently now. My kids don't really come home to me and they're like,
They
"Hey,
don't
mom,"
they don't
they're not.
separate them anymore. At least in
Okay, good.
Oregon they don't.
I think
Or
they
in our
shouldn't.
school district they don't.
I don't think they should because I think that boys, young men should know what is happening with females and women, and they should get to understand like the biology behind it, not so much needing to know all the PMS bullshit that might go with it, but
They need to
like the
know that
actual.
too, though.
Well, I mean, you don't want to scare them, right? You don't want to scare them.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
You want to
We're going
scare
to
them,
talk
huh?
about that. No,
Monica's
no,
like, no.
no. We're going to talk about the perpetuation of a stereotype that may or may not even
Oh yeah,
be a real thing.
I forgot. You are correct.
Yes.
You brought up
Yeah, we're
some
going to get into that.
very good points. I think I perpetuate the stereotype, if that makes any sense.
Are we just going to get into it now? You want to get into it now?
Let's go. This is
Okay.
how we're doing it.
So, years ago, again, guys, I just hold a lot of information in my brain. So, somebody one day I know is going to be like, they don't link to their resources. I
We
don't go
don't.
around.
We
When
don't.
I
Okay.
have a
Fuck.
resource to
Everything's
link
fuck
to,
doesn't.
I will for sure link to it. I'm not trying to go around plagiarizing some people's information somewhere. There was a study done years ago that I read about, and I don't remember where I read it, but they did a study where they were talking about how, and I'm paraphrasing a lot of
Uh
this,
huh.
but basically what they were doing is they were having women rate their actual PMS symptoms. And, studies they're not,
They're hit and
perfect.
miss. Yeah.
They're hit and miss. And it was one study. So, but basically what they were trying to find out is, are women's PMS symptoms really as bad as like the stereotype says they are? And what this study kind of found was that most women, they're not. Like, yes, there are women who have really like messed up hormones. There are women who go through like different types of, hormonal issues, women who go through really bad periods and things like that. There are women who have those issues. So I'm definitely not discrediting that. But for the majority of women, yeah, our hormones fluctuate and we do have changes during times of PMS and before we menstruate. However, they found that the stereotype is being perpetuated oftentimes as like a get out of jail free card for some women
To do whatever
to
they need to do to their
behave.
families that
Yeah.
week.
And I'm not saying like all women do this, so don't don't come at me, guys.
She's just talking about a study, all right?
I'm just talking about like how a study was done. And it's kind of interesting when you think about it because I have seen myself do this sometimes where I'm not even irritated and I'll just be like mad about something that's not even a hormonal problem and I'll just be like, why PMSing? And I'm not
Yeah, see,
even
that's what I'm saying. Like
mad.
Yeah, I
And I'm playing
perpetuate
into
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I do. And another thing that I hate about that stereotype is then once I've already done it and I'm making it worse, then somebody like my husband will say, it's because you're on your period. And that just spins me out because then I'm like, he's using what I just said against me. It, I fucking
Yes.
hate it. Yeah, I fucking
Yeah,
hate it.
so then what it does is it it
It gives
continues to
them
perpetuate the stereotype of the PMS
Yeah,
thing, right? Okay.
and it gives them the okay to say it back to you because you
Yeah,
used it. Once you use it and you're like, "Well, it's because I'm on my period." You say that one time, they're like, "Oh, well, it's because you're on your period." They'll get to say it
every
too
time.
every
Every
time.
time.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
sucks. And it's like you want to be able to say, "Well, no, I don't feel good because I'm on my period," and not have them say later on in the afternoon when you're really making a valid point about something that's going on right in front of you, and they're like, "No, no, no, this is you're acting like this because of your period," and it's like, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what gets me. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I blame outbursts or anything on my period, but I do get cramps. I get more emotional, like where things hit me different. Like I can be watching a Snicker commercial and it can be literally just a fucking Snicker commercial and I'll start crying and I'm like, oh man, my period must be coming because I do
Yeah.
get emotional and I cry more for no reason. Um, so I want people to like be respectful of those things when I'm on my period, but at the same time, like not say, well, you're just being overly emotional because of your period to me.
Yeah.
It makes
But
it
the thing
worse.
is that's interesting is like we have this idea and this stereotype around the period where it's like women are overly emotional in a negative way, like with the crying and the like the mean bitchy behavior. But we
Yeah.
don't talk about the fact that some women actually go the opposite direction. Like some women have increased energy and are like more happy before their period. Like why aren't we talking about those people?
You
Like
know
why aren't we
what?
talking about those
When
women?
I'm ovulating, I'm a whole fucking different bitch. I have a meme about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the week of ovulation, I'm like fucking superwoman. I look good. I'm fit. I feel good. I'm taking on the world. I'm making appointments, and then the next week, I'm like having to carry on those appointments, and I'm bleeding, and I'm fucking mad at myself for being superwoman last week.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm just talking about like PMS week. I'm saying like sometimes
oh, I don't have a
I'm
week before my
saying,
period that
oh,
I'm upset. I
but
don't.
some women do. Like I
Yeah, I'm the opposite
during
then.
during the week like before my period, yeah, sometimes I'm hormonal like in a like not nice kind of way, I guess.
Like you're
But
mean, like you're more critical.
yeah, but not even that way. Like sometimes I just think I'm tired. Like,
Yeah,
because my body is, like, going through stuff, and
yeah,
I'm not even in a bad mood, I'm just tired, and
yeah,
so, when you're tired, like, yeah, you're kinda grumpy, and I think that's, like, where that irritation comes from is, like, not that I'm being hormonal, I'm just tired, and I have a headache because I am going through, like, changes in my body, and I just sort of, like, want some space, and I
yeah,
think that's sort of where that, like, bitchiness might come from. And it's not even that I'm like hormonal, it's just that I'm tired and I want to be left alone.
yeah.
And
That makes
that's all I'm
sense.
asking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I totally get that. And at that moment when when your man's like, "Well, I guess I'm not getting any fucking sex tonight," which mine has done several times. Doesn't that feel great? You're like, "Yeah, no, you're not." And now I'm definitely not even sucking your dick, bro. Like, so, you just
So
fucked
move
up, you know?
on.
You were gonna get lucky, but that just ruined it.
But that comment, no. Uh dead.
Sorry.
You
You know
totally caught me
me.
off guard with that, but I know.
Oh man, I'm being honest with you. I think that men just don't get like what's really happening in our bodies and the amount of pain we're having or the amount of like inflammation that's going on or just being fatigued like you're saying and just so uber tired. Like I don't think that they understand it because they've never been through it. And so it's understanding. I think the only men that I know in my entire life that have been understanding of it are the ones that were raised around women. And like if it was a one boy and he had a lot of sisters and a mom or you know what I mean, that man normally typically in my life has always been like, "Oh man, let me get you a tampon. They'll go to the store for you." They're not like held back by those things, but that's just been my
I'm trying to think if
experience.
like Reed has ever bought tampons for me. But I don't think he's ever had to just because I've never like had the need for him to, but I think he would if I asked him to.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
Junior
think
had
he'd be
to.
Oh, I think he has actually,
Yeah, Junior
and I don't
has.
think he would be weird about it.
Yeah, no, Junior. I mean, I've had babies, so Junior's had to go get me like adult diapers. You know what I mean? He's had to
Yeah.
go in and out. Like he's had to get everything for me, like tucks. You're like, get me
Tux.
this, get me that spray.
Tux.
Yeah, you're like, get me this. So he's had to go ahead and just get over that whole fucking, you know, what
Yeah.
is it like? Not ego. Maybe it is ego. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
he
it's
had to get
like
over it.
pride.
Yeah, I don't know. He had to get over it though. But my son, like, okay, so in my house, I don't even really shut the door when I go to the bathroom. I know your guys are like, "What, Asia?" No, I don't. I just walk in there and
I don't
go.
if I'm peeing.
See, another reason why I love you. You just make me feel seen. I'm glad we do this. I don't. I shut it when I'm doing my business. The other one too, but I when I'm just gonna go pee, I walk right in there. And so my kids have always seen me on my period. You know what I mean? Always, even my son. And to this day, like
Oh, no, I'll be shutting the door for that.
no, I leave it open. My toddler comes walking in. She's like, "Mom, you on your period?" I'm like, "Yeah." She'll go in. She'll get me the pad. She'll pull it out. She'll open it for me. She'll help me put it on my panties. She'll pull the sticker off. Like I want them to understand like this is so normal. It's just
Yeah.
so fucking normal. Like this isn't. And I don't show them my kids like the PMS side of it. I'm more of the my body is doing what women's bodies do to get ready to have a baby. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
prepare for the possibility of becoming pregnant. You know what I mean? So I do the more science
Yeah. Ramona and I
approach.
have always been like super open about it. Like she's always been like asked a lot of questions, like always been super open about it. When she was little, she was like so excited to get her period. Like
Oh my God, that is so funny. Rebecca was too.
she was
She
like
really was.
obsessed with it.
Rebecca was too. And then once Rebecca had it, I think it was like on month 3, she was like, "Wait, this is forever." And I was like, "Well, yeah, bitch, this is forever." And she was like, "Oh no, then I'm not okay
No,
with
just
it."
kidding. I'm not.
Yeah,
This
we
is
put her on the
not.
depot shot, and she was on it for a long time, and she really enjoyed not having her period. So it worked
Yeah.
out for her because it just was really the mood swings on that bit was a little much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. ADHD will do that too.
It
Yeah.
does. I don't know how you're surviving it. It was really difficult, yeah, because the mood swings on a
Am I
toddler.
surviving it?
On,
Just
like,
kidding.
she's like, "Am I giving you guys all the fucking impression that I'm surviving this?" Because yeah, it's taken me down.
It's a bit rough, but I'm making it somehow. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like being so open with her when she was younger, she feels like she can talk to me about it. Like we
Yeah,
have a lot of conversations about it, and she feels open to talking about it with like her friends and stuff like
yeah.
that. And
Ramona is
so
just a really open
which is
person
good.
too. Yeah, she's very open
Oh
minded.
yeah,
So
she definitely is. Yeah,
yeah,
she definitely is, which is really helpful because I know if she like has a problem or like a concern about her health or anything like that, she'll come and talk to me, which, we're kind of at a point with her period right now that we probably need to go get her checked out cuz her periods are like 12 or
hella
14
crazy.
days right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hella
they're
crazy.
super
Yeah, then
crazy.
I got to take her in. That's the kind of stuff that, being a mom to a daughter, people don't really talk about it, but it's difficult. There's a lot more money that goes into it. You have to, man, when you sync up with your daughter, like there's just so many
Oh my
things.
gosh, I know. That's been really hard because we like play off of each other and you can
Yeah.
see that like our moods are playing off of each other and then,
Yes.
like Reed can see that and
That makes
it's
the
really
week leading up
hard.
it makes the week leading up to your period worse. Like if you don't have PMS and you're typically okay, and then you're like me, I'm typically okay the week before. I get worse the day it starts. That's when it starts for me. But my daughter is like the week before migraines, taking naps, acting like a pregnant lady, and she will drive me crazy with her attitude. And she doesn't look at me and say, "Mom, it's because I'm on my period or I'm going to start my period." She just acts a certain way. And I know now because we've been doing
Yeah.
this dance for 3 years that her period must be coming. She's getting headaches. She's complaining she needs a nap. She's rolling her eyes more, sucking her teeth more, just a little bit more opinionated than normal, craving fast food. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
she goes through all of those things, and I'm not really going through anything, but it makes me, I think she triggers my period, if that makes any sense, just with her
No, it
energy.
does. Uh I've always been like super regular every 28 days, only 4 days long. like just
Oh,
clockwork, like
fuck you,
total
Monica,
clockwork.
dude.
It's always been
Just,
like that.
dude, you know
And
what? Why does
I know.
Jesus, does God just love you or
He
something? Are you
shines
just
his
his,
light upon me and
are
I
you
just like
his
bask in the
favorite?
glow of it
God
actually.
damn it. How did you luck
And
out?
then
I'm over here bleeding
no,
all
I
month
didn't luck out
long.
because can you listen to me for a second?
No,
And then
no, I'm pissed. This is
Ramona just comes
ridiculous.
along with her little like, preteen attitude. And then she just like starts her own menstruation and she's like, "Here, I'm just here to fuck up your shit right now,
Do you
actually."
bleed whenever she does now? Is that what you're saying? Because that
I
would
don't even
be
know when my
the
period is
worst.
anymore.
Oh
I
my
don't know what it
God.
is.
She
I'm
threw it
not on a
off.
schedule anymore. It's like whenever it fucking wants to be. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. Could you
You're me
imagine
now.
going
You're me now.
your
Welcome
whole
to my world.
menstruating life is
Yeah.
like on
She started
a schedule?
she started her period and I shit you not, the next you did too. And the next day I bled in bed, which I've never do. 40 years old, never do, ever, ever.
My 12-year-old alpha mead. She alphaed me. Like
Oh my God.
her hormones took over my hormones. Like,
Oh my God. I can't believe we're both going through this.
you guys, it's not cool.
Get ready if you
So,
have
just so
a
you
get
know,
ready
if
if you
you
have a
have a
daughter.
daughter,
Yeah. We're both like scaring
sorry.
everybody. We didn't I don't think we intended for that to happen, but now that we're here, welcome to the
Please
club.
don't please don't cancel us just because of this episode.
Oh my God. No, this
So,
is honestly shit that needs to be talked about.
yeah.
I think that we get away from the realness of the period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what it brings.
So I've been loving like Ramona's attitude around periods because she's like on board with like everything about periods. She is like so open about it. Like she's so open with her friends. Like she just talks to anyone. She had an incident at school and she was like totally cool going to the office and being like, "Hey, like need
Need
help."
help.
And, that for me is like super huge because when I was her age, that was not me. Like that was not my
It
sisters.
wasn't even okay. No, it wasn't
No,
okay. It wasn't okay. They didn't have
at
nobody in
all.
the office.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And
No,
you
ma'am.
couldn't, you know, one of my sisters, she had her when she started her period, it was horribly traumatic for her. Like the teacher wouldn't let her go to the bathroom, and what happened to her was just it was
Really
just
bad.
really awful. It
It's
was
really
really
bad.
traumatic. And nowadays, like it's becoming more acceptable to be like, "Hey, I'm having a feminine health problem." You can talk to your teacher about it, and it's a little bit more acceptable for some of these kids because their parents are talking to them about it more and making it more acceptable. And that's the thing, is like it has to start at home with parents talking to their kids about it. It has to be acceptable. It has to be one of those things where we're making our kids feel comfortable and having those conversations with adults and having those conversations with their friends and things like that. Because if we're not doing that, then we're having these kids going into the bathrooms and what you're saying, what you're telling me, what they're doing at your son's school, freaking
Yeah.
shooting tampons out like
Into the
they're,
toilet.
rockets into the
Yeah.
toilets, clogging the toilets, taking the free pads or the pads out, breaking the,
Yeah.
whatever machines. And that's the kind of bullshit, is like some of these families are low income families. They can't afford hygiene care.
Yeah.
And this is where they're getting this stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
if they take this stuff out of the bathrooms, like where are these kids going to get it?
The thing with taking it out, because when I found out that was happening at my son's middle school, the kids were going in and just they were opening all of the products and sticking them on the walls and flinging them everywhere and making a big old mess. They had to then take them out and put them in the office. Well, now all those kids that are honestly in the bathroom needing it, experiencing something in that moment can't
Yeah.
get to what they need that is on the wall and should be on the wall. And it's because those kids, they weren't taught at home that this is something that's almost sacred. It's like something that you have to have respect for because it is a very vulnerable moment for a girl to go through when she needs something and she can't get it. My daughter has had it happen several times where she's so tired in the morning and she just forgets to take products with her. And then she'll have to use toilet paper because in her mind, going to the office is just out of the fucking question to ask for help. Some kids like her just don't feel comfortable and they're never going to feel comfortable. And those machines gave them that security blanket.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. You know what I mean? Like, it's a respect that you have to have for us as people that menstruate. You know what I mean? You have to really have respect for us because we need those things.
Yeah.
And they should be
Um,
affordable too. I think
yes.
that's a big part of this that I know is coming up a lot more now. But they're not affordable. I'm a low income house. I have two people that are on their period. It used to be three. Um, I can't even afford the products. I honestly go to the
Not if you
99
want
cent store.
something that's like good or,
No, I go to
that
the
you're
99 cent store.
concerned about putting in your
Yeah.
body.
I go to the 99 cent store and I buy what they have on the shelf and we use that. And every, like, maybe 3 months, we'll be able to afford to go to Walmart, and get a few big packs and have those. But it's too expensive. It's like ridiculous that the pads are $10. You know what I mean? For a small little pack. Um, it is absolutely ridiculous. And then taxes on top of it. You know,
Mhm.
I just really think that we're kind of being taken advantage of in that respect. There should
Yeah,
be,
because it's something that you can't get away from it.
we
You
didn't
have to
ask
have
for
it.
it. We didn't
Yeah.
ask for our period. We didn't ask to have this financial burden once a month for the rest of our lives. It's a little bit much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
There's places now, excuse me, there are places now that are giving them to people who need them, like low income places like Scotland and New Zealand. There's a
oh, wow.
couple of states that are giving
Here
access
in the
to
United
those.
States?
Yeah.
Nice.
Washington, Illinois, and New York City, I think, are one of them.
And they give them
So
away at schools, or you can,
yeah, schools, I think, middle schools and high schools. I think some of these states started in 2021, and some I think sooner than that actually.
yeah.
So not
Well,
all.
that's good. I think
I think more states are getting on board with this.
they need to. They really need
Yeah,
to because it's something that, as a when I started my period, my mom, we weren't living in the best situation. We were living in a trailer with another family because we were pretty much homeless. And they were like a little bit hoarders type situation, I think. Yeah, if I remember correctly. And their toilets didn't even work, they didn't function. So we had to basically pour water in them after we used them, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
Um, and I started my period, and my mom, she didn't even handle it properly at all. And she knows and admits that now. But she basically just gave me some OB tampons that
Oh
had
my gosh, those
no
tampons.
applicator. Okay. The ones which you unwrap like the cellophane on just the tampon.
Yes, yeah.
And she just told me, go put this in. And that
Those
was
are a
it.
nightmare. The
And
tampons are a
it was
nightmare.
ridiculous. And I think that it was the lack of education that she had from her mother.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And she didn't know, you know what I mean? And so that's why I do it so different, because I didn't have even running water when I had my first period. And that's the
Mm,
worst. If you think back,
yeah,
like, you need to wash your hands. Like, I'm using you know, a tampon with no applicator and I can't even wash my hands, and I'm like a 14-year-old girl just trying to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? In the bathroom
yeah,
by myself, like unwrapping it, like, okay, well, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
What's
I think
happening
that,
here?
yeah, I think that we've come a long way because I know that I did it differently with my daughters. I know you did it differently with yours. So back in the day,
Yeah,
though, man, nobody talked about it. It was forbidden to even, it was like mum's the word. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
weren't allowed to
Super
talk about it.
shameful.
Yeah. And it shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
it's still kind of one of those things where it's not, like wildly acceptable to talk about. Like it
Who
still
do you think
feels
perpetuates that? Who
uncomfortable.
do you think perpetuates it? You know
I
what I
think
mean?
everybody does. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
women perpetuate it. I think it feels uncomfortable to talk about even as a woman because we're told by our parents that it's uncomfortable. I think obviously men don't want to talk about it because it's dirty and weird and blood's weird and we don't want to have period talks. We're very open about it in our house, but Reed doesn't want to have a conversation about periods. Like Ramona
Neither
talks
does
about
Junior.
all the time, and
Neither
he's
does Junior.
still like, yeah. And Ramona's like, what is so weird about it? Like
No, Junior's
it
the same
happens every
way.
month. Like don't be
And
surprised.
Junior knows, but he also just doesn't think he should be included in the conversations.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
Ramona is like, well, you should be included in the conversation because it affects two people you live with. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, she's kind of right.
And
Actually, it
it's
does affect
true.
two people you live with.
It's true. And we don't want to be babied. We just want an understanding of what we're going through. Like as you
Yeah.
like actually listen to us and try to take in what's happening. You know what I mean? Like I can send a video of what's going on to my husband and he's like, wow, babe, that looks horrible. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he's that accepting of it, but he definitely doesn't want to talk about it in front of anybody. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't, especially his daughters. It's just weird to him because it's their privates. It's their
Yeah.
privacy in his opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's good, like for the next generation, like my son, to see that it's not a shameful situation. It's not something to be made fun of.
Yes.
If you see a girl at school with something on her pants, you come up behind her and you say, you go to the office, it looks like you've had a little bit of an accident. You know what I mean? Let's get you some
Yeah.
help. Put your jacket around her waist, like help her out. Don't go up
Don't
behind her and
ignore it.
laugh and point and don't ignore
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? You have to help us out because it's a respect issue.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, is like, it wasn't talked about, I think, in Reed's family, even though he does have a sister and obviously his mother. I think that not growing up having conversations like that to normalize it
Yeah.
is something, like now he's of an age where it's like he's just now having these conversations and now with his daughter. And so I think it's like, well, this is uncomfortable for me because it's not something that was talked about regularly. And so it still
Yeah.
feels like taboo and like, why are we having this conversation? Why are you
Yeah.
talking to me about this? Like, I don't need to have this conversation.
Yeah.
And so I think talking to them while they're young and normalizing it for boys and for girls and for non-gender
Husbands,
whatever whoever,
everybody. Yeah.
yeah, just like making sure that they know, like, it's not weird, it happens, it's not an uncomfortable situation, it's like pooping.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's right up
everybody
there, man.
does it.
It's right up there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think men have their periods too. I've always called
Oh,
it,
menstruating. Yeah.
yeah, menstruating.
Yeah.
I've always called it that because my husband, I don't know when it's the fucking moon is full or when it happens, but like once a month, once every other month, he has a week where he's just not himself and he's a little more emotional and he's listening to music and he's, a little bit more into his feels. And I'm like, dude, are you menstruating? Like, are
I
you
call
getting it?
I call it his myriad.
Oh my God. I love that we both have one. See,
Are you
so
on your
men
myriad?
do. Men do. And I think if
Yeah.
we make it normal for them to have an off week and for them to feel a little bit sad or a little bit in their feelings, it's okay. And if we
Yeah.
normalize it for everybody to have time when you just don't feel right and it's okay, we have it every month at the same time and it sucks and sometimes we have it for longer and sometimes it never goes away and there's lots of different scenarios, but I think that it should be normalized for everyone.
Yeah. I think too, I really started to feel more like periods needed to be talked about more after I had Ramona. And I didn't have a period for a long time because I had the IUD.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to another mom who chose not to get the IUD, and I think she was on the pill afterwards. But I remember like having a conversation. Oh, we were in a public bathroom together, and she had taken her like I think it was her kid was a toddler, and I was like, "Oh, let me like hold your kid for you, whatever." And she was on her period, and I was like holding her toddler for her, and Ramona was like infant. So Ramona was in the infant seat or whatever, and I was holding the toddler, and she was like changing her tampon or whatever, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've been able to change my tampon in a public bathroom without trying to hold my toddler at the same time."
Yes.
And all of a sudden, because I hadn't had my period, it just like dawned on me what that would look like, because
Yeah.
obviously I was a new mom and I was thinking to myself like, "Oh my gosh, like I cannot imagine like being in public and like having to change a tampon or change a pad and like have a child on me, because like what are you
Yeah.
going to do with your kid? Like
Yeah.
you're in a
You have
public
to.
bathroom. You
You have
can't
no
just like let
choice.
them run free, like you have to
No.
like have them on you, and you're like they're on you, you're by yourself, you're in public, you got to like,
Figure it
that's like
out.
shit you have to deal with. And I don't think people think about like that kind of shit, like
Yeah.
we have a kid hanging on us while we're doing shit like
All of
that.
that
And
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
and not to mention like now we're out in public and we've just randomly started our period. Oh shit, I don't have a tampon, I don't have a pad.
Yeah,
Now I'm sitting in a stall and
with the toddler.
hi, yeah, can somebody hand me something? Is anyone in
Yeah.
here? Like, can I have some help, you know?
You're in the most vulnerable state. I don't think that people
Yeah.
get how, I mean, it's just it takes you, I can't even describe, like it takes you to a place where you're stuck.
Yeah.
You have to survive. You're like up toilet paper and like I know I've used toilet paper, I've walked out, gotten, the ones you use for your
Yeah, the
hand.
paper
I've
towels or
yeah,
whatever, yeah.
folded those up and made my
Oh
own
my
little
gosh, those are
patterns
horrible.
just so I can
Yeah.
get home. You get home and you pull your pants down and you basically just withered away this toilet paper. It's
Yeah.
like all over your thighs. You know what I mean? It's just the
Yep.
worst. It's the worst. And
Yeah.
people don't talk about it, like how we're surviving out there. We're like literally legit surviving.
Yeah.
It's a battlefield,
Yeah.
man.
It is. And
Oh,
then, on top of that, like we haven't even started on the the symptoms of all of the different types of things that happen with PMS and then, one day menopause.
menopause. Dun, dun, dun. I'm
My
premenopausal right now. If that
Are
makes you
you?
feel any better. Yeah, I am. Because of my
Oh my
endometriosis, I've
gosh.
got end stage endometriosis. So I'm already on birth control because my body's not creating the hormones. And so
Oh my gosh.
I would just bleed for a month straight if I wasn't on medication. And I can't even
So
have kids. I've been
I
fixed.
have like no idea. I was talking to one of our followers about this cuz she's gone through menopause and so we were like having a whole conversation and I have no idea like when that will happen for me because my mother's side of the family, like my grandmother had to have a hysterectomy early, my mother had a hysterectomy early, my great grandmother she died kind of young and so like I
Yeah.
have no idea like when menopause even happens in our family. No idea.
My mom went through it hot and heavy, man. She still kind of has it every now and again, but she
So does
went
my
through it.
mother-in-law.
I think she went through it from like the early 50s, like from 52 to 56, I want to say. And she's 61 and she still has hot flashes sometimes. And she
Yeah, my
still has the
mother-in-law has
fatigue.
been doing it for like 10 years and
Yeah.
like
And
we'll be in the kitchen and she's like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so hot in here.
It's
Oh my,
so hard
open
to
all
see
the
them go through.
windows and
Yeah, it's
doors."
so hard to watch them go through that, and to think that we're coming up on it eventually. It's pretty sad and scary, and it's something that we need to be there for each other for, because I don't think menopause is spoken about. If periods aren't spoken about menopause sure
Menopause
is
sure
not out
isn't.
there.
No.
No, we're not talking
Mm-mm.
about it. You know what I mean? My mom's been on estrogen for fucking years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just so that she can function. Um, it's our bodies are definitely different, and they take so much love and care because we are the ones that reproduce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so I think that we should be, treated a little bit differently because of it. I mean, we shouldn't be allowed to get away with murder. You know what I'm
Yeah, roll out my
saying?
red
Like,
carpet. Just
fuck.
kidding.
Don't ruin it for us, ladies. Don't go out there and expect like so fucking much out of everybody, and then everyone treats all of us normals out there like we're being
All of
ridiculous. You know
us
what I mean?
normal.
God, I hate that. Like, don't we're okay. I have three daughters. Two of them have been through it, and I'm like, look at them both, and I'm like, dude, I'm on my fucking period too. Knock it off. Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
Some
like
people no, some people get like
I have to
there's
reel them
like
in.
no oh shit, what's it called? Premenstrual something disorder and it's like hormonal rage basically.
Man,
That's like in fact so bad where it like makes their hormones so heightened it's like causes like aggression, verbal aggression,
outbursts.
like yeah, like outbursts. It can cause like
Thank
severe
God
and
my daughters have
serious
never
mood
had that.
swings. So I the reason I looked into it is because with ADHD it can be comorbid and so
Yeah,
Ramona's mood swings have sometimes during PMS been
pretty bad.
pretty bad.
Yeah, I honestly I got lucky in the sense that Rebecca did most of her PMSing in a different place. You know what I mean? Because she had
Yeah.
got Rebecca was removed, I think, at like 14 and a half, 15 years old. So I didn't have to do all that. But Liliana, man, woohoo, she just is more of a, it's like an entitlement to be treated like a princess because she's on her period and I'm the queen. And I'm over here like, well, no, if anybody's going to get special treatment, bitch, it gonna be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like there's like that kind, it's not like a competition or a rivalry, but it does feel that way, like to get the sympathy out of the men. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
constantly like, well, no, mine's worse. Well, no, mine's worse. And I hate it. You know, it's no, we're both on our fucking period. I don't care if, you know, there's no more tired than the next. Just because I look like I'm handling it better than you does not mean I am.
Yeah.
So,
It's called premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it
damn.
causes severe anxiety, depression, and extreme mood changes.
Well, whoever's
Some
suffering
women,
from that, I'm pray for
yeah,
you, man. That
some
sounds
women can
terrible.
become like suicidal. And so, like, a lot of those women tend to end up on birth control and things like that to
Yeah,
help, and antidepressants to relieve symptoms. So, anyways,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, those people, I'm pray for you guys. That's really difficult. I
So,
can't
that's like a
imagine.
legit thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine. Thank God, no. My teenagers are just assholes. Different. Totally
Yeah.
different. They don't have any disorders. Don't give them any excuses, Monica. Not going to happen.
I'm not.
No, we're not giving them any new diagnoses over here. Okay. No
I
new
would
ones.
not do that.
No.
Basically, what we just want to say is, you guys, don't try to make excuses if you're just tired and irritable. Okay. But also talk to your kids about periods because it's really
Yeah.
important. Normalize this shit. Have these conversations. Talk to your significant other. Make him buy tampons. Make her buy tampons. Make everyone buy tampons and pads.
Yeah, and talk to your local legislature about
Y-
maybe knocking the tax
yes.
off of tampons.
Knock the tax off.
At least we
It
should
should
have
at
a
least be available in
there should be a government
schools.
brand. There should be a government brand that's like literally 99 cents, but it's just like the Walmart version in a different
Yeah.
package. We shouldn't
And
have to spend $10 to get the good
no.
stuff. The good stuff should
And
be cheap.
if you can afford, there are brands out there that help countries, developing countries. You can buy, like a box of tampons, and they'll donate a box of tampons to
Yeah.
developing countries. Ramona and I try to support brands like that because,
Yeah.
we try to do that if we
Well, yeah,
can.
you want to bring up the
Yeah.
other people's.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of countries that don't have access to affordable healthcare, and that includes feminine hygiene products. So,
Yeah.
do your research if you guys can, because that's really important for places like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so let's keep the conversation going. This is a good
Yeah,
one,
hit
I
us up,
think.
guys.
Yeah, I think it's a good one to keep talking about in the DMs and in the comments. You know what I mean? So
I agree. All right. I think we're wrapping it up, guys.
period
Find
sisters
us.
out.
Period sisters out. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. If we sync up next month, I'm going to die.
Girl, this is the new norm. What do you mean? We
It
can't
might not
record
be.
next month.
Ramona is messing me up, so who knows what's
Yeah,
going to
who
happen
knows when
next
the
month.
fuck you're gonna start
Right?
next.
Seriously. Anyways, guys, find us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you like to listen to us. Rate us, review us. We really love to hear from you guys. So hit us up in the DMs. Thank you for listening, and we will
Thank
talk to you
you.
guys soon.
Have a great week,
Bye.
guys.